ไม่เป็นไรก็คืออันนี้แต่ว่าเดี๋ยวตามอันนี้ก็คือมี orientation และอาจารย์จะให้เขา pre-test แล้วก็น่าจะให้เวลาสัก20 นาทีอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็จะค่อยแล้วก็อาจจะเบรกสักนิดแล้วก็ค่อยกลับมาอาจจะแจ้งเวลาเขาว่าแบบกลับมาตอนไหนแล้วก็ให้ปล่อยเขาทำแต่ว่าเดี๋ยวอาจจะต้องดูนิดไม่รู้ก็เผื่อเขามีปัญหาหรืออะไรแต่ว่าจริงๆมันก็จะเป็นลิงก์เข้าไปทำเป็น Google Form ธรรมดาเพราะข้อสอบเป็นอยู่ใน Google Form ค่ะอาจารย์ก็ลองแล้วนะคือหมายถึงว่าเราอ่าเปิดจอแล้วก็ถ่ายแล้วก็น่าจะได้ค่ะ
ประมาณปลายสนาม
เขาก็พอดีตอนที่
อาจจะช้ากว่านั้นก็ได้ค่ะอาจารย์
ให้มันเริ่มสักนิดนึงเกิดอะไรขึ้นอาจารย์ไม่รู้จะหาใคร
ได้ค่ะอาจารย์แต่ผมก็จะมีไอ้นี่แบรนด์แบรนด์ต่อเป็นโอเค
เป็นตัว
ใช่
ใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่ใช่จะสอบต้องต้องไม่นี่แหละค่ะอาจารย์
ใช่
อันนี้สวยดีเข้ากันนะอาจารย์เดี๋ยวค่อยกรอกไปไว้เพราะมันมีเครื่องนู้นมาที่เรียกที่ของ
เดี๋ยวอาจารย์เปิดไว้เลยก็ได้นะแล้วก็เปิดเลยใช่ค่ะ
นี่ใช่ไหม
อันนี้
จะต้องรับเลยขอบคุณครับ
หรือว่าไม่งั้นอาจารย์เอาอะไรนะเซฟมากับไดร์เปิดกับไดร์เพราะว่าอันนี้มันจะเปิดจาก Google
ใช่ค่ะอาจารย์
Google Drive เลยมันชอบมีปัญหาไม่มีอะไรอาจารย์เอามาจากไดร์น่าเปิดกับไดร์อาจารย์
ได้ของนี้เติมได้
เพราะว่าถ้ามันตอนแรกนั่นคือบอกเจนว่าน่าจะเฟซออกมาแล้วอันนี้เพราะว่าใน Google Drive อะไรเงี้ยมันชอบแบบที่นี่
ก็โหลดไป
แต่ว่านี่เป็นงานที่ตรงนี้มันดีกว่าเพราะว่าเปิดใน Google Drive ชอบเวลาแชร์อะไรเงี้ยก็เป็นปัญหาเหมือนกัน
ต่อมาเนี่ยมันเป็นจังหวะที่มันลึกพอดีแต่ถ้าฟังหรอแกก็บอกทุกทีค่ะทุกทีค่ะไอ้เบื้องหลังผมไม่ได้เลยนะแต่ผมว่าไปตัดต่อเองก็ได้บางคนไม่มีแต่เราเอาเนี่ยเสียงเอาคนควรมาจากรอบวันคนต้องมีเสียงไหมคะต้องมีองค์ไม่ลงเด่นอ๋อแล้วเขาก็เลยไม่รู้ว่าโดนตัดแล้วไม่ได้ช่วงเวลาต้องการเพราะว่าเป็นสองตัดต่ออีกสองพูดได้ค่ะ
มันปิดนู่นนี่อะไรหันมาไม่
ปก
ได้
ติต้องมีคนแสดงมาแต่ไม่ที่ไรให้การโดดเด่นก่อนเราไปประชุมทัศน์แล้วพวกเสร็จปุ๊บเดินสองจะ3 ชั่วโมงเอา3 ชั่วโมงยังหนักนะเอาของดูตั้ง2 ชั่วโมงใช่ไหมแต่ว่าเพียงแต่ว่าก่อนเริ่มตอนนั้นอ๋อหรือว่าไม่ไหวก็5 โมง
แบบสามที่ตั้งใจว่าถึงตรงแบบสอนชาร์จใหญ่ออกดูดีนะดูเริ่มไป2 เครื่อง
ได้ไป
นี่วันนี้ปี 3 ปี 4ซึ่งจริงๆว่า4 โมงเย็นแต่ไม่ได้ถึงนะเมื่อก่อนไม่ได้มีตรงที่ต้องมันก็มีหรอกเพราะว่าเอาจากงานก็พยายามจะได้งานเยอะแต่ดู
ถือว่าอาจารย์บอกเพียนเลยอาจารย์แรงที่อ่านออก3 ด้าน
พรุ่งนี้ถึงจะได้มีคนเข้ามาบ้างเลยค่ะ
มีมารอในห้องรอ15 คนก็ได้
แต่ต้องไปปีนแข่งดูที่แบบต้องไปทางที่แบบไม่ถูกของบ้านถ้าเราเจ็บเดี๋ยวมีโต้งนะไปดูอ้าวโต้ง เออได้เดี๋ยวสัปดาห์นี้ต่อตอนของปีสามของปีสองซึ่งจะได้เลยโปรได้แล้วเนาะนี่ไม่ได้เป็นปีโปรเจกต์เลยที่ว่าจะเอาเพราะฉะนั้นจะรวบรวมอันทุกอันเราก็เดี๋ยวรอให้มันรวมเก่งรวมกันอยากเป็นตรงนั้นแรกเก่งมันต้องมีสมาธิมันต้องโยงกันตัวนี้เราใช้ไงมาแบบมีอะไรผมไม่คิดว่า
ลองแอดเซ็ตแล้วแต่ว่า
ต้องให้ติดโพสอะไรวะ
ปกติมันใช้ได้ไหมครับ เพราะว่า
ได้เหรอ
เนี่ยครับเพราะว่ามันไม่ ไม่ขึ้นมา
ปกติเราใช้ก็ใช่นะจริงๆมันจะอยู่ในหน้ากล้องอะ
นี่นะครับวิดีโอ แล้วก็นี่เนี่ยครับ
เหรอไกด์สอนแล้วด้วย
ใช่ไม่งั้นถ้าอาจารย์กดนั่งเป็นเนี่ยครับจะขึ้นแค่แบ็กกราวด์
อ๋อมันจะไม่มีเอาเพราะว่าออก
แล้วก็
แป๊บหนึ่ง
ลงวิดีโอเซตติ้ง
นี่ครับ
มันใช้กล้องตัวนี้มันไม่ขึ้นหนวด
ใช่ครับก็เลย
หรือว่าข้างในเครื่องมันกล้อง แต่ปกติก็ใช้ได้นะ
ตอนเมื่อกี้ครับผมลองไปเปิดแล้ว มันไม่มีอะไรเลยที่หมายถึงว่า
กล้องอะเหรอ
เนี่ยครับ camera access เรียบร้อยแล้วแล้วก็เนี่ยครับ currently use
มัน
ก็เลย
มันมีตัวเหมือนเมื่อกี้กล้องมันก็มีตัวให้เลือกอยู่ตัวเดียวใช่ไหมแล้วคุณกับเสีย
ใช่
ขึ้นเลย
ใช่ครับ
ไม่งั้นเดี๋ยวอาจารย์จะขึ้นไปเอาตัวกล้องมาให้เสียบ
ลอง
เอาไหมครับมีข้างบนมีน่าจะเป็นตัวกล้องที่กลับเสียงด้วยกับ
อ๋อ
ในตัว
ค่ะปกติใช้เครื่องนี้หรือเปล่าแล้วว่าเป็นวันนี้ว่าไม่
Each
ได้
block turn off on switch or button on your device please unblock it or turn switch on to use
switch กล้อง F อะไรนะ
ก็ออนหมดแล้วผมเลยงง
เค
ว่า
รื่องดีปะ
เนี่ยครับปกติมัน
เออ
มัน
ลอง
ควร
เปิด
เป็
ปิ
น
ดก่อนได้ไหมไม่ได้ อะไรเนี่ยเดี๋ยวจะเอาพวกนี้
ได้ครับ
แต่เราคงจะมีไหมเราไปสั่งซื้อแบบนั้นเลยของคณะมีไหม
น่าจะไม่มีครับ
ลองดูมีไหมด้วย
ผมก็อันนี้
มีสอง
ตั
อัน
ว
ปะที่ไหนอ๋อโอเค
ใช่ใช่ครับแต่ว่าเดี๋ยวผมกำลังจะบอกอาจารย์ว่า
เดี๋ยวจะต้องส่งลิงก์ป่ะ
มันคือมันสามารถทำอย่างนี้ได้ครับที่เอ่อเนี่ยครับถ้ากด Ctrl L มันจะเหมือน Presentation เลยครับที่แต่ว่าเวลาออกก็ต้อง ESC ออกอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับอืมผมเลยไม่รู้ว่าอาจารย์จะรู้สึกยุ่งยากหรือเปล่าเพราะเดี๋ยวมันจะต้องมีแชร์สกรีนอะไรพวกนี้ครับเดี๋ยวผมแชร์ไปให้
ทำไมกล้องไม่ได้เพราะว่า
โอเคครับ
โอ้ยเขาเกลือไปเลยขอ
ได้ไหม
การจะเสร็จ
ไม่ได้ห้อง
กัน
แต่ว่า
เอากล้องคอมเสียงค
อ๋อ
อมเจเนอาจารย์ แต่ก็ไม่ได้
แต่
ไม่
ว่า
ได้ใช้
ถ้าอย่างนี้มันเสียบยังไงเดี๋ยวก่อนเพราะว่าข้างบนอาจารย์ใช้มันวางได้ แต่ว่าต้องเสียบ USB ก่อน
ออกทางนี้ค่ะอาจารย์อันนี้นะคะ
มันต้อง
เอาได้ค่ะ
หรือไม่แน่ใจเพราะว่าข้างบนมันวางจากจออยู่ไหม
ได้ไหมครับ
มันจะเกะกะต่างกัน
ห้ามชน
ไว้อันนี้น่ารักค่ะ
ตัวนี้มันเป็นไม้ด้วย
อ๋อได้ครับเดี๋ยวผม
ที่จะได้ใช้ไม้ตัวของอาจารย์ตัวนี้มันมีปัญหาตรงที่ไมค์มันมีปัญหามันจะเสียงเอ็กโคไม่รู้ยังไงมันรับยังไง มันก็จะเสียงสะท้อนอึนิดหนึ่งเหมือน
อ๋อ
แล้วที่สำคัญก็คือมันเครื่องเก่า ถ้ามันชาร์จแบตนะ มันจะมีเสียง
อ๋อ
มันเลยแบบไม่ค่อยเหมาะเวลาที่
แต่พวกนี้น่าจะมีเครื่องหนึ่งของโครงการที่น่าจะได้นะคะได้นะ
เรียนแพมเพิร์สคุณฟังเสียงคือจุดนี้ได้มาเจอกับแบรนด์ไอพีแพมเพิร์สแบรนด์จากประเทศออสเตรเลียรีวิวเลยจากการให้ลองใช้กับผิวมาแล้วใช้ง่ายสบายสอบขาดีพวกหัวกดซึมและช่วงนี้ป้องผิวบนแห่งกำลังตั้งฉากเพื่อที่กำลังช่องส้มเตรียมชาเท้ากับสีย
हजुर हजुर ए मैले एकचोटि कुरा गरिहेर्छु नि कता छन् होइन त्यहाँबाट अरू गाडीहरू त झर्ने छैन
Afternoon. Hello. I guess that we can wait for a little while because actually there are about 100 enrolled students. So I think probably I could wait a little bit, 5 more minutes. And probably good afternoon to you all around this region, and also probably good morning to those who are from other continents. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, so we will get started. I just have seen in the chat box that someone mentioned about there is no sound. I'm not sure whether can you hear us? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, hello again. I think probably it's about time because while we are waiting for others, but there's still not many students coming. So today the climate change, but surprisingly that I have seen a lot of students enroll in this course. So today is our first day out of 15 times that we meet together on this course. So before we started learning, probably I will provide you some of the course orientation. So just to inform you guys that how we're gonna work it together during this period for the whole period. I will share my file for you. I try to find the full screen.อาจารย์แชร์ไอ้เนี่ยค่ะเข้าใจว่าเมื่อกี้แชร์แอปพลิเคชันแน่เลยใช่แต่ว่า full screen มันไม่ได้โอเค Okay, for our course is called Silviculture and Climate Change. So it will start, it's starting actually today and every working days for 2 weeks. So starting today until February 13, the time is Bangkok time, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., 3 hours. So it's quite a long time. And actually myself, I am Sapit Diloksumpan. You could call me Sapit. That is a very easy name to call. I am serve as the course coordinator in this course and also a key lecturer in this course as well. So maybe I introduce you guys a little bit of my background. And actually for myself, I complete my PhD in Australia, but that was very long time. So my key expertise is in the plant physiology, silviculture, and also carbon forestry, anything related to carbon. I work a lot of the carbon measurement and monitoring, and also the carbon credit projects. I used to work, I started my work at the Royal Forest Department in Thailand, the key organization in forestry, and transferred to Kasetsart University at Faculty of Forestry for a long time. And now I used to work as the administrator, like head department of silviculture and also the associate dean for Faculty of Forestry. But now I have a lot of classes related to the climate change. Actually, for our course, our program in Thailand at Kasetsart University, we also have the course Forest and Climate Change for undergrad students, and also have the forest carbon measurement and monitoring for undergrad students as well. But for silviculture and climate change, this course is for graduate students. That's why you guys enroll here. So it's the cost at the graduate level. I think that is probably my background. So you could have some of the picture how I work, and I also have some of the research paper you could search in the internet as well. So let's talk about our course today. So for this course, the objective of this course is to provide comprehensive understanding of the principle and practice of silviculture in the context of climate change, and to equip students with ability to analyze the impact of climate change on forest ecosystem and implement mitigation and adaptation strategies. And lastly, to foster critical thinking and research competency, essential to address the challenges of climate change within the field of silviculture and forestry. So in our course, so I am as the key lecturer, but we also have some invited speaker from other organizations, also from other countries, and also from international organizations as well. So this is part of the course outline. So today is just the course orientation. And so today we will have course orientation, and of course have a little pre-test today, and also introduction to the silviculture and climate change. Probably today is just the beginning of the course, probably not too hard for you guys, just get it easy. So tomorrow there will be the lecture on forest ecosystem and climate change by me, and the next day will be the presentation on the optimizing forest carbon, a landscape perspective by Dr. Michael Jenke. And on the Thursdays, so we will lead you to the climate change and forest fire management by Dr. Gopsak-Wanthongchai, who is the key expert in forest fire in Thailand. And I come back again on Friday on integrated management of forest resources for climate change mitigation and adaptation. So usually, even though we have the guest speaker, so I will be here with you guys all the time at the, maybe I will be the one who introduce our invited speaker to you guys, and probably by the end of the class, so probably we have a little talk or a little discussion, as well as some of the class activity or homework. So this is for our first week. And for next week, we're starting on Monday with the policy context for forest-based climate change mitigation and adaptation. So we have our guest speaker from Department of Climate Change and Environment. And on Tuesday, we have Professor Ho Sang-Kang from Seoul National University. He will provide some of the insight into the forest-based solution for climate change mitigation and adaptation through global and regional collaboration, because Professor Kang, he is also the director of the Forest Asia Institute. So he could probably provide you guys a lot of the information for the global and regional collaboration. And on Wednesday, next Wednesday, I will come back again for the forest carbon measurement and monitoring. And later on, we'll be on the adaptive silviculture for climate change, probably on the 5th of February. This is probably the key message that we would like to deliver to you guys about the adaptive silviculture for the climate change. And on next Friday, so we have forest-based mitigation and adaptation through sustainable soil management. So we have Professor Patra from Faculty of Environment, Kasetsat University. She will provide you a lot of her experiences in soil carbon management. And for our last week, we will have a guest speaker from IMFN-KUFF, the international organization. Kun Warankana will provide you some information on community-based adaptation and resilience to the climate change. And on Tuesday, Dr. Widongrong from our faculty. So she will give you guys on the climate change mitigation and adaptation through agroforestry, strategy for enhancing food security. And again, on Wednesday, we will have invited a speaker from Thailand Greenhouse Gas Organization. We will share some experience about the carbon offsetting and trading. So in Thailand, we also have our carbon credit standard. So on that day, our invited speaker, the director of the greenhouse gas management and offsetting and trading of the TGO will provide some information for that. And during the last 2 days, so we have the case study and presentation from you. So during the class, probably we will assign the topic and the assignment, and you will come back on the last 2 days of the course to present your work. This is part of the examination and also a course evaluation. So this is how we evaluate this course. So those who want to have the credit from this course, so probably need about the participation and class attendance. This will provide you about 20% of the total score. And also the midterm exam, which will be announced later, and how it's gonna be like. And also the individual or group, mostly I think it could be an individual report about 30%. And the final presentation, that's the one I told you that we gonna have on the last 2 days of the course. And I also provide you some of the information that probably you find to read more. For example, the forest and climate change biological perspective on impact, adaptation, and mitigation strategy. And also some of the journal related to forest ecology and management. And you could also follow the online material from the LEAF Regional Climate Change Curriculum, where our organization, our university and IMFN-KUFF have worked together under the LEAF program funded by the USA. And also the material from FAO on sustainable forest management. I think you could follow the link. And this is how we're gonna work together. You can see this the QR code that I have shared all presentation file for you. And if you couldn't scan, or probably you could follow the link. And we will update daily for the presentation file for you. And also once we have the homework or the assigned report or anything that how you gonna submit your work is through the email civiculture2026@gmail.com. So this is only an email that you could send your homework or report or anything through the email. I think I'll give you some time. Probably you could see the drive, and once you get into the drive, you could access the share file. And alternatively, our staff will send you about the all information that you needed to attend this class. Anyone, if anyone have any question, you may use the reaction or raise your hand or so that I could see, or even type anything in the chat box so I could see. If not, probably we could okay. I could do that for you. I could ask my staff to do that for you. Our participant, our student like to have the link in the chat box. Okay, great. You could follow on that too. And yes, all assignment submission will be shared through the Silviculture2026@gmail.com. That is to send me to submit the your report or assignment. Okay, are you ready? Because next slide, that will be your pre-test. Okay, if you are ready for the pre-test, please probably give me some signal, any reaction, smiling face or anything, so that I could know that you are ready for the pre-test. Okay, I've seen someone is ready. How about others? I think that if nobody have mentioned anything related to the pre-test, so I will go to the pre-test. Also, I will ask my staff to type the link to the pre-test to the chat box as well. So in this case, probably you could access easily. The pre-test, I will provide you about 20 minutes for the field for the pre-test of this course. So I'm gonna be around and probably will be back again after 20 minutes. Okay, the link for the pre-test is coming in the chat box.
The development of structured finance and taxonomy might not be journey drawing a clear frame of environment and social sustainable activities. I believe this workshop provides a platform for stakeholders to share insights, exchange ideas, and contribute to the revision and operationalization of the taxonomy. And I invite all of you to actually engage in practice and provide your expert input during the workshop today, as well as immediately we have scheduled for next week. With those opening insights, I now invite Mr. Dushan Kanasuthan, Head of Central Finance Division of Meteorological Science Department of the Central Bank, to deliver a brief presentation on central bank initiatives related to sustainable financing and establish the objective of this exercise. I'm sure it will provide
The idea was that
revising the taxonomic systems in 2022. And to give you a little bit of we have a milestone previous taxonomy, which is currently
Okay, I'm back again. I think everyone is finished the pre-test, right? If nobody say anything, so I guess this is all done. So from this, so we will probably start. Not yet. Okay, I can wait for a little while. Okay, I can wait for a little while. Yes. Oh, I guess everyone has done the p-test. I think mostly yes. Okay. So in this case, I will continue our introduction to silviculture and climate change. So maybe today we probably spend only 2 hours, not totally 3 hours. Just provide you some introduction of the course and also how it would be like for the next 3 weeks. I will share with you my presentation file.มัน Ctrl L หรืออะไรมันทำไมมันไม่เห็นเหรอทำไมอาจารย์กด Ctrl L ไม่ได้ Sorry a little mistake. Oh sorry I got the wrong one. Hang on, that is tomorrow's presentation. So sorry, hang on a moment. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the file for today. So actually I got into the tomorrow's file. So today just only a brief introduction into the silviculture and climate change. So in this class, so I will focus on the climate change situation, and also in the second part of this presentation, so it will be the introduction to silviculture. So it just course introduction. So and I think I'm not sure. It's like my staff couldn't find this presentation file in the shared drive, but maybe I will do it again later on. So about today's class, so we will talk about the climate change situation and also some of the definition. So I think everyone knows about the climate definition, but usually for the general terms of climate, so we will focus on the weather condition over a long period. That is probably the key word of the climate. But usually for the IPCC, I guess the everyone know about the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. IPCC it works more like the technical support for the UNFCCC or the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So usually IPCC have a lot of definitions on the climate change and any term that related to the climate change and other technical term under the UNFCCC. So it's likely that for the climate, so it would refer to the average weather or the statistical description in terms of the mean or variability of relevant quantity. Usually we're talking about the temperature, we're talking about the rainfall, we're talking about some moisture. But the keyword is usually is supposed to be the average weather over a long period of time, ranging from months to millions of years. But usually for the World Meteorological Organization, it defines that the long term of the weather as defined for the climate is 30 years. That is the technical term for that. But usually we use to compare between weather and climate. Usually for the weather, it's just only a short-term state of the atmosphere. For example, the rain, it just rain, or sometimes we could see that we have some of the weather forecast for today or tomorrow. That is the weather. But for the climate, it's long-term pattern of weather. For example, we have the tropical climate. I think many of us are from the tropical continent. So usually we have something that we call tropical climate, which is contain, it's like the weather is more like very humid, and sometimes we have a lot of rains. But usually this is the average weather over many years in one specific place. So this is we call the climate. But usually the climate could classify into type depending on the continent. For example, like in most of the students here or you guys here, I have seen that many of us are from tropical region. So we have the tropical climate. But in some area that have a lot of the desert, so it could be like the dry climate, or in some area that from the temperate zone, so it could be like a temperate climate, or even some area like in the North Pole or something like that, so we call it polar climate. So this is how it looks like when we're talking about the climate definition. So for the climate change, so it's the change of the climate that can be identified by using statistics. And of course, usually IPCC define that the climate change could be the change of the climate that come from natural and human activities. But usually for under the UNFCCC, so there is also the definition of the climate change as a change of the climate which contribute directly or indirectly to human activity. So in this case, why the UNFCCC focus more on the climate change that attributed by human activity? Because once all the party country have signed the UNFCCC, so we focus more on the human activity that could contribute to the climate change. For example, so the use of fossil fuel or in terms of forest, so we could have a lot of emission from the deforestation. That's all human activity. So about the natural climate variability observed over the comparable time period. In that case, we under the UNFCCC, so we could ignore that natural cause of the climate change. And usually now the contribution of the human activity could increase the greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Actually, I have provided the IPCC glossary related to the climate change and also other technical terms under the UNFCCC. So you could follow that link to see more of the definition. So when we look at the trends of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, we can see that from the 1980, before the we start a lot of the industrial period. So carbon dioxide could be about 300 something, but now in the year 2026 already, actually this information is last year information is about 420 something. So we could see that is almost 80 ppm increasing during the last 40 years. So it keeps increasing. So this is something that we worry about, because the greenhouse gas, particularly carbon dioxide, is the key greenhouse gases that contribute to the cause of the climate change. So for the climate change situation, but usually once we have increased greenhouse gas, it could contribute to the greenhouse effect. And after that, so we have the phenomena of the global warming. That is not just global warming, but now we have the climate change. The climate change is more than just global warming, because sometimes we worry a lot about the climate intensification. For example, so we have extreme weather event. I think you could see lately the news on the TV that in some of the country, like in Russia, so we have like a lot of snow. So probably the heaviest snow hit the record maybe in 50 years. So something like that we have. That's what we call extreme weather event. Or even the flood that we have, like the situation of flooding by La Nina and also drought from El Nino. So this is something that we worry more than just the global warming. So this is the latest report from the World Meteorological Organization about the global climate prediction. So in this case, the report have mentioned about the temperature expected to remain at or near record level in coming 5 years. So increasing rate impact and society, economy, and sustainable development. So in this case, we could see that 80% chance that at least one of the next 5 years so will exceed the temperature in the year 2024 at the warmest record of the temperature. And of course, 86% chance that at least one of the next 5 years will more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, where we have the agreement to maintain all the temperature increasing not more than 1.5 degrees Celsius under the convention UNFCCC. So we could see that now is like the chance that we're gonna exceed the 1.5 degrees Celsius. Apart from that, there are also long-term warming in the Arctic, or because this could cause something of the glacier melting, and we could have like also the precipitation pattern that have a big regional variation. This is some of the report that probably you could find from the World Meteorological Organization. All of the report focus that we're gonna have a lot of extreme weather events coming. This is for example of the extreme event that you could see that there was a snow in one of the hottest places in the world, like Sahara Desert, that occurred in the year 2018. So I couldn't believe it myself that in Sahara Desert that we could have a snow over there. Or even in Vietnam, I think some of us are also from Vietnam, which is a tropical country. So in some year, we could have some of the snow up on the top of the mountain somewhere in Vietnam. In Thailand, we still don't see any of the snow yet. Apart from that, what we concern a lot probably about the extreme weather event or the disaster. So in this case, we could see that from the statistic that number of disaster keep coming up. So it is more frequent and also more intensity that could happen to many countries in our world. So this is some of the example of the disaster. I'm not sure whether anyone recognized this. This is one back to the year 2011, one of the worst flooding in Thailand ever. So we call it like mega flood in the year 2011. So by that time, we had a lot of flooding, very heavy flooding, and you could see from the bottom of the middle picture. This is Bangkok, where we close to our university, Kasetsart University. So by that time, we have to stay under flooding for months. No, probably more than 1 month. And in many provinces of Thailand. And also this is one of the worst case. And for this disaster, so could make Thailand in the top 10 list of the climate change risk countries. So we stayed there for about 10 years. So the last record that we just getting a better from that situation because for the climate change risk, the ranking probably use the 10-year average. So that's why once we have this big disaster back in the year 2011, so we gonna stay in the top 10 list in top 10 ranking in the climate change list for about 10 years. And this is also some other years. So we also have the mega flood as well. And lately, just by the end of last year, we have the bigger flood in southern part of Thailand. We call Hat Yai, which is probably one of the biggest city in Thailand. And so that time we have like a lot of damage to the city because Hat Yai is also, like I mentioned before, one of the biggest city in Thailand as well. So this is could recognize as one of the biggest flooding over 25 years in Thailand for southern part of Thailand. And also in some area, we also have the flooding from the sea rising. The sea level are rising because of the glacier melt. For example, that we could see in some of the area. This is happen in many parts of the world where we have a lot of glacier. So this is in Pakistan. I'm not sure whether any of us are from Pakistan. So this is also recognized as extreme event caused by the climate change. So what happened was there was the worst heat wave during the year 2022. So we have like the rising of the temperature caused the glacier melt in the northern mountain region of the Pakistan. So during that period, it's more like during the La Nina climate event. So we have like the really, really bad disaster in Pakistan and a lot of damage. So I provide the link. Probably anyone like to see more of the information for that. And this is also the other situation related to heat wave in China. So we could see that the China's record the heat wave at the worst drought in decades. So you could see the mapping of the drought in over China. So this could be the worst drought in the 6 decades in China. So you could see from the mapping, so the dark color, that the dark color identify the extreme drought. So you can see that a lot of dark color all over China. So we could see that during that period, so we have the heat wave there, and of course, they got a lot of impact to the Chinese people, more like 100 of millions got the impact from the heat wave in that year, in the year 2022. I think I'm not sure whether anyone like to share the situation in your country. Do you have anything? You may turn on your microphone and share your experience. And also, if you do like to share in that way, probably you could type in the chat box. So probably we could share the situation, because I also share the situation in Thailand, that we have a lot of flooding in Thailand lately. And this is not all over in Thailand, but actually we also have the flash flood and also the landslide in the northern part of Thailand as well. Please, anyone like to share your experience in your country? Any?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Thank
Could
you so
you
much, Prof,
introduce
for this
where you
wonderful
from?
presentation. I am Abdullah Isaac Shehu, and I'm from Nigeria.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and also Nigeria is part of the world that is experiencing a climate change issue, especially in terms of precipitation change, as it affects our smallholder farmers. We have an approximately over 40 million smallholder farmers actually that are boosting the agricultural sector in Nigeria. And part of what they are experiencing is this precipitation change. And it leads to a lot of consequences, especially in terms of agricultural production in Nigeria. That's one issue about climate change in Nigeria. And secondly, we have these droughts, massive drought and flooding. We experienced that like in 2023, one of the worst case that we have here in Nigeria is that in Maiduguri state, that's Borno state, we have massive flooding that's destroyed a lot of cities, a lot of communities, and millions of people who have been affected by that flooding. So those are some of the issues that we are experiencing regarding climate change. There are many, but I just mentioned some due to the time factor, and I will leave us to talk. Thank you so much, Paul.
Okay, thank you. Can I call you Aisha, right? Here from Nigeria, so I could see that there's also the similar situation. Okay. Oh, that is also other in chat box that from the of Africa. So yes, in Africa is there is an arid and semi-arid area. There is a high level of endemic biodiversity, which is being affected by climate change. The region is experiencing. Yes, I also have a similar situation in Thailand as well. So it's in Thailand we also have a lot of the endemic species, and once we have the climate change and the drought and also some of the high temperature, so we have lost the biodiversity, some extinction of some endemic species, similar to your case as well. I'm not sure whether in Africa and also in Nigeria, there is any of the climate change that have the impact on the food security. So because we have like drought or extreme event probably could destroy some of the agricultural crop or food crops. Any situation in Africa? That are concerned about the food security.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I see that yeah, in Africa there also the serious food insecurity, right? Okay. Okay, there is also from Indonesia, which is our Thailand's neighbor. So Indonesia has probably similar situation like Thailand. The Great Fat. At the end of last year in Sumatra, probably similar to the case in the southern part of Thailand. Not only flood, but also landslide happen in other areas. Yes, Indonesia and Thailand are in in the same region. So that's why we have a similar situation of the climate change. I have someone from Myanmar. Hello from Myanmar. So actually now I have my student, graduate student from Myanmar as well. Now she is very busy writing her thesis. She is about to finish by the end of March. In Myanmar, also increasing the erratic weather pattern, more frequent floods and drought. Yes, I do agree, which is lead to the declining agricultural yield. Yes, and this could be has the impact on the food security as well, and also the degradation of the pasture land. And depletion of natural resources, unsustainable resource extraction practice, including gold mining and deforestation, have intensified environmental degradation and reduced ecosystem resilience. Moreover, extreme heat wave, unpredictable rainfall, and recurrent seasonal flooding continue to undermine agricultural productivity. The region's vulnerability to climatic shock was vividly demonstrated by cyclone. Yes, I recognize that in September 2024, which is result from extensive flooding and the destruction of more than 700 hectares of rice field, along with severe damage of the critical infrastructure across multiple states. That is probably the worst climate situation ever in Myanmar, I guess. That is probably we've got a lot of impact on agricultural crop, which is food recognized as food insecurity, serious food insecurity. This is I got some one from Pakistan. Oh yes, you also personally witnessed the devastated rainfall in the year 2022 that I mentioned earlier. Okay, more than 2,000 acres of newly forest was damaged, and mostly the whole district was declared. Oh, I see. That is the very worst situation. In Nepal, so high variation in altitude from 60 meter mean sea level to the top of the world. Yes, of course, that could affect it from the climate change. In southern Africa, also frequent and prolonged drought, extreme storm, and flooding, leading to the calamity and food insecurity. Yes, I do agree that yeah, there is someone from Hat Yai, southern part of Thailand. That is I mentioned earlier. So we face the continuous heavy monsoon rains, tropical depression, and prolonged low pressure system trigger widespread of flooding and landslide across central and southern part. This is sorry, this is in Vietnam too. From this, I could see that many of us have faced the similar situation. That's why I think now for this course, we will also recognize the climate change and the probably we could call that extreme weather event that could contribute to not only to agricultural crops, but also forest resources as well. That's why we try to deliver to you guys about how we could manage to reduce the impact or increase the resilience that we could cope with the climate change situation for this whole course. And also we also discussed about the food security. Also something like agroforestry system to increase food security as well. So thank you guys that share some of our experience. We still have some of the some other comment sharing. Yeah, this is share in Himalayan region. So uneven of snowfall in the area of Himalaya continue affect distribution of endangered plant species as part of the regular research. Oh, you conclude that there was a 12-day shift in snowfall yearly from the last 16 years. That could contribute to the shift of natural distribution of some species. That is probably tomorrow. Tomorrow we're talking about the impact of the climate change on forest ecosystem. And of course, we will focus on the biodiversity loss and forest structure change or change of composition of forest structure. So I provide some example of the case in Thailand that we have some research, and probably tomorrow we could discuss a little bit more on the change, or we call the shift of the natural distribution. So tomorrow we will focus on that. Thank you. Actually, thank you everyone for sharing all your information. So I think maybe we continue to our second topic. So the last topic for today. So, and actually just remind you that so almost every country that face the similar situation on the climate change, mostly the extreme weather events that could contribute a lot to the damage or something like the food insecurity and also the damage or the biodiversity loss for natural resources. So some part of this will be continue discussing to tomorrow. Now I will move to our second topic. So today probably, like I mentioned, probably we spend less time today, just like our first day, just provide some of the relaxing atmosphere. So don't work too hard for something like 3 hours. So maybe we could finish early today. So this is the second part of the talk today. So we will focus on silviculture. So I'm not sure that any of us are or have some background on silviculture, because usually for silviculture we in Thailand in forestry, so we have like silviculture as some of the key area in forestry. For example, in our university faculty of forestry, we have like one department. So I come from the department of silviculture. So we have like 6 departments. Then silviculture is one department out of the 6 departments in faculty of forestry. So usually when we talking about silviculture, we refer silviculture as the art and science of controlling the establishment, growth, composition, health, and quality of forest and probably some woodland to meet the diverse needs, value of the landowner and society on sustainable basis. So in this case, I could see this way: any management action for silviculture must be ecologically feasible. Any management action in silviculture must be conducted within all economic constraints. And lastly, any management action in silviculture must consider the context of the governing society. So in this case, I could see it this way. So the aspect of silviculture. So we look at the 3 different aspects to compromise all aspects and to meet the management goal. So we have like ecology. So we have the economics, and also we have the society. So that's why we could see from the circle. So once we think that we do the forest management according to the silviculture concept, so we need to meet all the 3 silvicultural decision making: ecology, economics, and society. That is all the definition of silviculture. But usually in silviculture, so we could set something like the goals for silviculture and management. For example, the objective to maximize timber production and economic returns. This could refer to the commercial plantation or the planted forest, or the objective to create preferred wildlife habitats. That is more like for conservation or the goal to protect water quality or the watershed area or to restore ecosystem function or to preserve natural forest ecosystem. This is more like the goal of the forest is for conservation. But sometimes we could have more than one goal in each area. So in this case, we could manage in some area or in individual stand to meet one or several goals. But sometimes if we set up more than one goal for our management, so sometimes it's pretty hard that we could maximize all the profit to meet all goals. So sometimes we need to, we call it like optimize or optimization to realize that which one is the most important goal of our management. And then we set up the priority of our goal. But usually in terms of silviculture, once we set up the goal, we could have some of the inputs, the management intensity. So usually for the goal, for example, like to maximize timber production or economic returns, in this case, we probably need intensive silviculture, where we focus on the plantation forest or agroforestry system. On the other hand, if we have the goal for conservation, for example, we focus more on the biodiversity, ecological complexity. So in this case, we could have some management or some input that we could call extensive silviculture. So in this case, it would depend on the management goal, whether we could choose intensive silviculture or extensive silviculture. For silviculture, it's good to talk about the silvicultural system. So usually for silvicultural system, it defined as a planned process whereby a stand is tended, harvested, and re-established. So we could have like the three phases of silvicultural system. So firstly, the establishment treatments. Secondly, intermediate treatments. And lastly, so we have regeneration treatment. So in this case, we could manage the stand or the area. So usually we could define the cultural system in terms of the 8-class structure. But usually we could have something like even a stand or uneven a stand. But sometimes in some of the management area, we could have like the 2-8. That is consists of distinct 2-8 classes of tree. So it is more like, for example, in Thailand, sometimes we have fast-growing trees planted together with the our native species or slow-growing trees. And once we could do some of harvesting of the fast-growing trees. And then we probably replant. So we have 2 different 8 class. But usually for monoculture, we have even a stand. That is usually for the management in terms of silvicultural system. But even a stand or uneven a stand, we could have the pro and cons. Always have pro and cons for even a stand and uneven a stand. So when it comes to the context of silvicultural system, probably I could summarize this way. Once we have set up our management goals, whether we could prefer the economics, the goal for economics return or ecology or for society. In this case, we could decide whether we're gonna use intensive silviculture or extensive silviculture. Once we use that, we need to choose the appropriate silvicultural system in 3 phases: in establishment treatments, in intermediate treatments, and also in regeneration treatments. This is some example of the sorry, I read the chat, whether anyone asked me. Okay, for the regeneration treatment, so I could probably provide you some information this way. So once we have even age stand, 2-age stand, or uneven age stand, but mostly for regeneration treatments. For even age stand, usually we do clear cutting system. In this case, usually we do the clear cutting system, and after that we replant the trees. But if we choose seed tree silvicultural system, in this case we left some of the seed tree, and probably we could have natural regeneration along the way. Or we could design the shelter wood system to provide some tree for shelter, and also we could do some of the artificial regeneration by planting. This is some of the example, but for the uneven age stand, so probably we cannot do the clear cutting, so we could do the patch selection, group selection, or single tree selection system. But in the meantime, for 2-age stand, so in this case, we could use seed tree and with reserve some of the seed tree. So in this case, we could have 2-age stand, or we use the shelter wood or seed tree, and then we have the ferment or still keep seed tree or shelter wood continue to the other generation. So this is some of the diagram that the sample that I explained earlier. So this is the clear cut. For we do some clear cuts, so we do some planting, and after that we take care of all trees when it comes to mature stand. So we do the clear cutting again. For the seed tree, so we have some of the seed tree cutting system. We leave some seed tree there, and probably we have the natural regeneration from seed trees. And after that, we could remove all seed tree. This is all become the even age stand. But once we use seed tree and we keep the seed tree, this could become the 2-age stand, similar to the one that I shared, the shelter wood plus the ferment. So in this case, we have some of the shelter wood left and we do some establishment, we could do some of artificial regeneration. And once the tree start growing, we still have some of the shelter wood remaining. So in this case, we could have some of the 2-8 stand, or at the end, if we do more of the silvicultural treatment, for example, like thinning. So we, in this case, maybe we could have a 2-8 stand or uneven 8 stand. So this is how we do the management. This is some example of stand establishment treatment, but usually once we want to have some of artificial regeneration, like the planting or natural regeneration. So for the artificial regeneration, site preparation probably is the more important to the success. So we could improve the site to increase survival and early growth and reduce competition for the planted trees. For natural regeneration, we could, for example, like once we have like seed tree cutting, so probably we could have the natural regeneration, and we could have a new cohort from natural seed sort, or we could have advanced regeneration or artificial regeneration afterward as well. This is some common intermediate treatments in silviculture. So we do the competition control, like weedings, or we do the we could use some chemical or mechanical method to allocate a greater percentage of site resources to our crop tree. And we also do some nutrition management, like fertilization. So this is to improve the growth of our tree. We could do some tree pruning, branch pruning, to remove branch from crop tree to improve stem quality and product class, or to do some thinning by removing tree from the stand to reallocate site resource to crop tree and allow them to more rapidly grow into higher value product class. But usually we use this a lot of the intermediate treatment for plantation. And of course, like I mentioned before, usually for silvicultural inputs. So we have intensive silviculture, extensive silviculture. But usually for the goal that we focus more on the economy, for example, commercial plantation. So we have to put a lot of the intensive management, particularly during the intermediate treatment. For example, the weed control, fertilization, pruning, and also thinning. So this is the part of the silviculture. It's just the little introduction of the silviculture. But I try to link the fundamental context of silviculture to the climate change situation. So I starting the question like, why are we learning this? So usually, to me, forestry long-term endeavor. So we need a lot of effort continuously. So that's why for forest management, so we need a lot of our effort, and we need to do it continuously. So that's why I think it's very important that sometimes we may experiment with any combination of silvicultural treatment that align with our objective. So we choose appropriate silvicultural treatments to meet our management goals. But sometimes it could turn out that what we have been doing is ineffective. Why is that? Because now we are under the changing climate. So sometimes we try our appropriate silviculture treatments that we think it could be fine with our objective. It could go very well with our objective, but we ignore about the climate change. So in this case, that's why it couldn't turn out good. So in this case, we have to concern about the climate change. We need to minimize the risk of the climate change by modifying, we call the try and true, or we could call good practices. This is one thing that very important. That's why we learn about this course. So in this course, I will guide you through some of example of management to minimize the risks for silviculture and forestry management. So we could discuss on the climate change mitigation, climate change adaptation, and we could also focus more on silviculture. For example, we could have like adaptive silviculture that could provide more of the adaptation resistance, to increase resistance, to create the resilience, and to help the forest to cope with the climate change. That is what we talking about. And in some part, probably we also discuss about nature-based solution. So in terms of the ecosystem-based approach and also the landscape-based approach. So we will discuss all this along our course. This is some of important definition that probably you need. I provide you the link. This is the very old textbook, and it's also available online. But probably you could look at as like the definition that maybe some of you may not understand, or maybe you need to refresh your knowledge a little bit about the background information on silviculture. This is all, and before we leave our class today, I would like to have some contribution from you guys. I'm not sure whether anyone familiar with silviculture. Could you probably share on the chat box that maybe some of you are in silviculture, or your background in forestry or in other areas? So in this case, I could know that when we discuss about silviculture, because silviculture is the particular forest management. So please, you may use the microphone, or you may type in the chat box. It's okay, like we do it before. Hello, anyone still with me? Anyone like to share? Anyone who have
Yeah, I'd like to share.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. I think it's very interesting. I don't have any prior knowledge of the theoretical background of the silviculture, but I manage and I work with a cooperative in the Horn of Africa, which has a large section within the landscape of frankincense trees. So these frankincense trees are old trees, ancient trees, and they're managing them and using old styled forest management. Obviously, these trees are for economic reasons. They harvest resins, which is the frankincense resins, which they sell. But lately, because of climate change, many trees are being affected. They're not recovering from the way they are being harvested. So when a tree is being harvested, they, just like the rubber tree, they make incisions on the bark of the tree and the resin comes out. So they're doing a lot of incisions on particular tree for that particular tree to recover. So this is where I don't know. It's never has there been any forestry techniques like silviculture has been tried. So I'm just thinking, and I want to learn from this course ideas to help them. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. But actually, yes, silviculture is also part of the forest management. But in this course, yes, of course, the course is in silviculture and climate change, but we not only the silviculture practices, but we also focus on the forest management as well. So that's why I mentioned earlier that we also focus on the ecosystem-based approach management, and we also focus on the landscape-based approach management. So I think on Wednesday, Dr. Michael, he is from Germany. Actually, he is now a lecturer at our faculty, but he graduated from Germany. He has a lot of experience about the management of forestry management of the old growth, and also he will provide some of the perspective on the landscape management. Please don't worry much about the silviculture. In some part, yes, we will focus on the silviculture, its particular terms, but also we also focus on other forest management as well. So you could see from the outline of our lecture that not only silviculture, but we also have some the broad management, general management in forestry as well. But thank you. Anyone like to share? Okay, now we have someone from Bhutan. I used to have some of the students from Bhutan as well. During the last few years, we also have some Bhutanese students studying in Faculty of Forestry. Anyone like to share some of the experience in silviculture and other forest management?
Thank you so much, Ma. I would like to contribute something about that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I am Abdullah Isaac Shehu as well. I am from Nigeria. And it's a great pleasure for me to be part of this class, actually, especially for this silviculture, because one of the problems that we are facing, especially, let me classify it as Nigerian, is this silvicultural management, actually. A lot of initiatives have been done for a government, international bodies, non-governmental organizations in terms of tree plantation. But one of the major issues is that after the plantation, the silvicultural management, within the, I think, 5 to 7 months, harsh dry seasons is one of the biggest killer of those trees that have been planted. Let me give you an example. Like in Kano State, there is an agency called National Agency for Great Green Wall, has been targeted to plant about 5 million trees, I think, in 2025. That's last year. But when you look at the impacts or the sustainability of the trees that have been planted, it's very far, actually, due to the lack of silvicultural knowledge among the communities and also among the tree caregivers that have been assigned to take care of those trees. And one of the very interesting things is that I am part of those people that are advocating for this silvicultural management, not only the tree plantation, rather than how the trees were raised, managed up to the level that it will be beneficial to the community, to the people, and also to the part of the world as one of the major carbon sequestrators, and also part of the carbon, global carbon sequestration that is actually. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you for sharing the experience in Nigeria. But yes, in our country also we also have some problem on the plantation management as well, and actually I think each country probably have some of the different ways of the forest management, and probably I think it's good idea that this class will provide a lot of the I could see probably some example of forest management in maybe different in variety of the management goals. So we can see that we also have some part that related to forest restoration as well. So I think probably I would like you to probably maybe in each topic that we provide you in presentation, we may figure out which one is similar to the situation in our country, and probably we discuss more on that case by case. I think feel free to do that too. Thank you for sharing your situation. Anyone like to share?
Hello, Ajahn. Actually, it is not sharing about silviculture, but I just want to introduce myself. I think I mixed the orientation session. I am one of the Kasasa University's alumni. I got a master's degree from Faculty of Agriculture. Since 2010, I am maybe the oldest student here, I think. But my current, my PhD is from Chinese University, and mainly focus on plant pathology, especially for bacteria, blight disease, and rice. So silviculture is new to me, but my current project, we are mainly focusing on water catchment area to make sure our community have access to clean and purified drinking water system. So I'm interested to learn about silviculture and also many things from this training. Thank you, Ajahn.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction. Yes, you think you are old student, but of course you are not older than me. Yeah, we also have some of the information from Bhutan that in Bhutan probably focus was mainly on protection until around the year 2010, and now increased initiative in forest management from government. Silviculture seem to be very useful. Actually, like I mentioned that I used to have Bhutanese students before. We have used to discuss about the forestry in Bhutan, and also some of the area also have like the commercial plantation as well. I used to discuss about the teak plantation and management in Bhutan too. I think probably it's good. Maybe next presentation we could discuss more. In Nepal, trying to use shelter wood system in the plain area. Yeah. Any other country that would like to share? One thing that I probably have to mention to you guys that in Thailand since the year 1989, so the logging was banned. So meaning that we are not allowed to do any harvesting, any logging from our natural forest. So we cannot use any silvicultural system like shelterwood or seed tree system or anything in our natural forest. Now we use only in the commercial plantation. So in Thailand, mainly we have like we use the even it stand. So mainly we use the clear cutting for short rotation plantation. But we also have some of other practice for the long rotation, like teak. Yeah, it's good to share our experience with you guys. In Bhutan, right, commercial plantation is in a small scale. Yes, no open area for good forestry plantation. Of course, actually, I never been to Bhutan, but I really like to go one day. Bhutan is one of my wish list country. I like to see some of the high mountain, and of course you have very limited the plain area. Yeah, thank you to share your information. Anyone would like to share other information? If not, I will remind you again that if you like to send any email, you could send to the email silviculture2026@gmail.com. So this email was created especially for this class because we like to share with you, and also once you would like to submit your homework or report or the examination or other, we could use from through this email account. So today is just beginning of the course, probably just give you some idea. So tomorrow we could come back again. So I will provide you some information of the impact of the climate change to forest ecosystem, and also we also discuss about the climate change mitigation, forest-based climate change mitigation and also the climate change adaptation. This is just the introduction part that we try to relate the forest management and climate change mitigation and adaptation. From to tomorrow, so we could discuss further, specifically in each topic. Sorry about that. There was a mistake about the presentation file. Yes. After the class, I will share this today's presentation file. I'm not sure whether what's wrong. I have shared tomorrow files already, but today's file is not yet. Thank you that inviting me to Bhutan. Yes. There's also I'm not sure means how to pronounce your name from Philippines that introducing that you are a forester. Great to know that. Yeah, thank you. So look forward that we could discuss and share some experience through this course. Okay, then after finish this class, so this class is very light, not like 3 hours the whole period, but for tomorrow it's gonna be like 3 hours because I have a lot of information that we could discuss and share. So today, after this, I will share the presentation file with you guys on the same share drive. You could access to that, and I will keep that drive updated when we have other speaker to share the file presentation. So we will share through the drive as well. So sorry about that. I thought that I have shared this file already. So we'll see you again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bangkok time. So sorry for you guys from different continent. Maybe it's not good timing for you, but we probably we have students from different continents, but so we decided that probably in the afternoon Bangkok time would be fine for most of our students. Thank you guys, and see you tomorrow 3 p.m. Bangkok time. Bye.